As always, we are Nerdoholics. I'm Frank Martinez.
Oh, am I supposed to say my name? I'm Jazzie Taylor.
Yeah.
Hey.
I don't have to.
I don't know.
It
just seems strange, to reintroduce myself. Hello, everyone.
I don't know if we have new listeners, and they're like, who is this strange man?
Do you really think we have new listeners?
You don't know. You don't know. Maybe people are like, that looks interesting. And then they watch us.
Like this beverage looks interesting.
It does.
It's blood.
It's supposed to be blood, yes.
Blood. I want to suck your blood.
Very thick, very red. It does have strawberries in it. All strawberries.
Mm-hmm.
Tastes great. It tastes like chocolate strawberries.
It really does.
You want to break down what's in it?
Put a little bit of coffee for mine because I put less coffee in yours, but you didn't want it. So you have strawberries, and then we have white rum, coffee liqueur, a little bit of maraschino syrup. What else did I put in here? There was some other syrup that I put. Oh, a little bit of grenadine. And we use a strawberry body armor in here too, which got to keep us hydrated. You know, we're going to be drinking alcohol. Hydration is key. So we got body armor in there too. And I think that was everything, right? And then just blend it up. Yeah, it's great. It's delicious. I'm here for it.
Amazing. It's pretty good. It's a little syrupy, I think, for my taste.
Chocolate syrup. There's chocolate syrup in here too.
Oh, yeah.
For the chocolatiness.
Yeah.
Forget about that.
One thing I will say, which we're going to put in the Instagram, but when you blend it, we both thought like, oh no, it's not blood. Because it just looked like a strawberry smoothie at first.
Yeah, because it has all the white in it from the bubbles and everything. Yeah. So I was unsure when I was looking at it. I was like, but the directions do say let it settle before serving. And I was just kind of like, okay, maybe that'll help. But it definitely does, because once it settles, it looks like blood. And I've never drank blood, but I feel like it slightly has the consistency.
Right, it's
of
thick,
it.
it's
gooey. A little thick, a little gooey.
Yeah.
It's just not warm.
Yeah.
That would be weird.
Yeah, that would be weird.
And it doesn't taste metallic.
No.
So, because,
the blood tastes metallic?
You never had, blood in your mouth?
Yeah.
But you never, tasted it?
You
never, bit your cheek and your cheek bleed out? And then...
It doesn't taste like metal.
Yes, it does. It tastes like licking a penny. Because there's iron in your blood.
How many pennies?
A lot of pennies. I have licked many a penny.
It's like, that's what I do when I get nervous. Leave me alone.
Yeah, okay. You don't know me. Don't judge my life. Okay?
Yeah. So, why do we have blood? What was the significance of this drink?
Vampires. I want to suck your blood.
What did you say?
I don't say blah, blah, blah.
Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, no, vampires. Tons of vampires in nerddom.
Yes, and then but there's a specific one. A reason why I wanted to do this episode. Nick, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm like, you didn't look
Let me
like
fix your face,
such
Nick.
a weirdo.
Me and Nick hanging out. So obviously I saw Renfield. Yeah. So we're going to talk about that, but we're also going to talk about just vampires in general. So
yeah, I did not see it. I unfortunately didn't have the time to see it. I really wanted to. It does look good. I do love the premise, though it's not necessarily and I don't know because you saw it. I don't. But from what I got from the trailers, it's more about his assistant, right?
Yes.
Not that was him, but his familiar.
The movie is not necessarily about Dracula. It's about Renfield, who becomes Dracula's basically assistant, and as you said, he's his familiar, and so he just basically does all of Dracula's bidding and goes and gets him people and takes care of his needs and stuff. But yeah, just the movie itself was pretty great. So
I'm sure.
That same actor, I don't know his name.
The guy.
Yeah,
I forget his name too because it's dumb. Because he's one of those actors who's been in a lot of things. Yeah. Because he was an X-Men.
Yes.
Yeah, and then he was also in that new movie that just came out, The Menu.
Okay.
Did you watch that?
No.
Oh my God. So I get feel it's kind of scary, but it's not things don't happen that are necessarily super scary. It's more like thriller.
Okay.
But it's not the goriest thing I've ever seen.
Well, gore doesn't bother me. It's more the thriller aspect which bothers me. It brings my anxiety up to here, and then I'm like,
this one isn't that bad.
Freaking out. What's gonna happen? And then the black in me also comes out, and I start just judging people, and I'm like, you idiots! What are you doing? Don't go that way.
There's a lot of that.
Stop.
Yeah.
So that happened.
There's a lot of that in that movie, but in general, the menu, I highly recommend it. It's really interesting. It's kind of funny at some parts, but then it's also like, I don't know. It just makes you think about how maybe how you should treat people sometimes, or maybe just like not take things for granted, even if you're like doing really well. But really interesting. But yeah, he did that, which is like a huge success.
Yeah.
Still have no clue what the fuck his name is.
Yeah,
Like, just a lot of things.
I mean, we could always Google it, but I mean, I don't remember his name either. But he also did that movie, Warm Bodies. Do you remember that one, the zombie one?
Oh, that's
He was the main guy in Warm Bodies.
Yeah.
Which that movie actually was like the Renfield movie actually reminded me a lot of Warm Bodies in the way that it was shot and kind of like even the writing and stuff like that.
It's the same director, because sometimes that happens.
Oh, why did this take me to the wrong spot?
I don't know.
I'm over here clicking on the actual movie itself, and it's trying to figure out his name, and it's like, no.
It's just pages and pages about Nick Cage.
Nicholas Hoult.
There we go.
That is his name. So you had Nicholas Hoult and Nicolas Cage working together. Two Nicks making it happen. Just spell him different because Nicholas Hoult has an H in his name.
Oh.
Nick Cage doesn't.
Fair enough. So tell us this very spoiler review of this movie. I need to know everything about it.
Yeah. If you guys haven't seen it, leave now because I'm probably gonna. I have no control over what I'm gonna say, so there will be spoilers. So if you haven't seen it and you don't want any, leave now. So like I said, very reminiscent of like Warm Bodies in the way it's written and kind of like the screenplay, or not screenplay, but like the way it was shot and everything like that. It totally reminded me of that. Very like kind of cheeky, but also still kind of scary. Like there were parts when I was like kind of like, ooh, that's a little scary. But also the fight scenes and everything that they did, phenomenal. I did not expect that from this movie at all. I was just kind of expecting it to be kind of like, like we talked about, just Renfield taking care of Nick Cage, whatever, what have you. But it was actually really good. And it actually had like a really good, like kind of base story to it. Okay. So basically Renfield kind of becomes Dracula's assistant because he used to be like a real estate agent. Okay. I know it sounds strange, but it's like they don't really specify, but I'm gonna assume it was probably around like maybe like 1920s ish. It's kind of like the look that he had when he was human. Yeah. Was he kind of had a look of like, and he had like an old like kind of black and white photo of his family from before. So I'm assuming maybe like 1920s ish is like kind of the vibe that it gave off of when he became Dracula's assistant. But pretty much I guess what happens is he leaves his family in another country, goes to Transylvania because I guess he's trying to solidify a deal to like sell Dracula's castle or something. I have no idea exactly. They don't really specify. They just say that he went there to go solidify a deal, a real estate deal. And then that's when he meets Dracula. And then Dracula's like, he would make a great assistant. And then it just kind of spirals from there. So I guess the main story behind it is that Renfield's kind of greed kind of took over. Like he wanted better for his family. So he thought that if he would just do whatever it took to, make better for his family, and then ends up becoming Dracula's familiar and then abandoning his family entirely. They never tell you even actually what happens to his family. You just assume, I guess, that they just go about living their lives thinking that Renfield like just abandoned them completely and just forgot about them. But so like you learn that kind of actually midway through the movie. So like it kind of just starts out with Renfield being Dracula's assistant, bringing him, people to eat and all that kind of stuff. Well, then these hunters show up at the house and Dracula and Renfield have like a kind of like an ESP kind of communication thing where Dracula can just talk to him in his mind. And he pretty much says like, Renfield, I need your help. The hunters are back. And you just see Dracula fighting off like a pope-looking guy, like a
cardinal.
Yeah, he's got like the whole hat and all that. And then like a hunter dude, and they end up putting him in like a ring of protection or something like that.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
think like supernatural, like a salt ring, like he can't get out of it, but he's actually like floating in it. It's very strange. Like he was like went to go jump at the minister, priest, whatever the hell that guy is. He goes to like jump at that guy, but he goes over the circle of protection or whatever and gets stuck in it, and he's just floating there. And he like looks at Renfield, and because Renfield comes in the room, and he gives him this like heartfelt thing about how like, who's gonna love you like I love you, Renfield? Like, you have to help me, because like the hunter guy's like, hey, let's get rid of this scourge from the planet, and then you'll be free. Like, help us help you. Like, he's already trapped. Like, let's just kill the guy and we can move on with our lives. But he gives him this heartfelt speech about how much he loves Renfield and nobody will ever understand him the way he does and all this stuff. And Renfield falls for it, because he's still kind of under Dracula's spell. And he falls for it, saves him. He like kicks off the powder that makes the little ring, and then Dracula just goes ham on these people. This movie was so much more gory than I ever expected.
Really? Wow.
I mean, blood everywhere. Like this, everywhere. Like, he would go to kill somebody and it was just splattering all over the place. And I was like, oh, this is graphic. People were losing heads. There's one fight scene where Renfield rips off a guy's arms, okay? Starts using them like nunchucks to fight somebody else. And then sees that the other character that he's like working with, whatever, is in danger, and then throws them like impaling fucking things and impale two guys with an arm. Like, cause the arm bone is sticking out of it. So when he throws it, the arm literally just goes through somebody's chest, and he just impales them to a wall. So intense, but so cool. I'm trying to think of like there's so much that happened in this movie, but it was so good.
Yeah, it seems interesting. Okay, so it's much more like the trailers just kind of needed to be like funny, very self-deprecating.
Yeah, kind of like a Dracula satire. Which it kind of is, but at the same time, it's also has, some darker elements and a little bit of seriousness, like, as an undertone.
Okay.
So pretty much kind of as the story evolves, he does that, whatever, and saves Dracula. And then time goes on, he just keeps doing the same thing. Well, we get to pretty much like present day, because this was at a different timeline. They don't really specify. But then you get to like present day or whatever. And he's taking care of Dracula, nursing him back to health, because I guess it takes a long time. So pretty much what happens at the end of that fight scene, I didn't say this, was Dracula they open the blinds and he gets like burnt to a crisp. Like literally, like that's the scene they show in the preview when he's like, "Master, are you okay?" And he's just completely burnt, and he looks over and he's like, "No." Like that's what he looked like at the end of that fight.
Wow.
So I'm assuming it takes a long time to bring him back to full strength. Because then the next time you see him, it's like present day time. They're moved to a new city. They're now in like New Orleans. And Dracula just looks like shit, like when they show him next. And there's all these blood bags on like behind like where his like little throne is. It's like a wall of blood bags. And it's like, okay, well, how much blood has he had? But he's still not even back to like his normal self. Like his skin was all gross and falling off, and he was, but like, so when we see him now, he's trying to nurse him back to health. So he's like supposed to be bringing in people and doing all this stuff. Well, he discovers that a good way to do that is to go to like this like self-help group of like codependent people. And so it's like all these people who have these codependency issues. And so what he decides he's going to do is take their monsters from them, the people who make them feel codependent, and take them to Dracula.
Oh, that's funny. And
so that's where he gets the victims or whatever for Dracula. But then he also starts to realize that maybe I'm codependent on Dracula.
Oh, wow.
And so he like starts having these like revelations like, oh, maybe I am worth something, I have needs too. Like, it's not just about Dracula. So it's like he goes to this like class and he starts like learning about his own self. Another interesting thing that I didn't know this, I don't know which part of the lore this is for Dracula, but apparently Dracula's familiars get their power from eating bugs.
Okay.
I don't know if that's like fully in like any other Dracula.
I know,
but
I know that like sometimes it's been known for vampires to eat like smaller creatures because they can get nourishment from it. Not a lot, but like if they need to stay alive, like if they can do that. But I know about bugs getting necessarily like giving somebody powers.
Yeah, so that's how he gets his powers. So he's a familiar, which in this movie basically means he has like some Dracula powers and he is immortal technically, in a way, like not fully, but like he's like stuck in the middle. He's not human, but he's not necessarily a vampire either. He's like somewhere stuck in the middle. And so it's weird when he eats a bug.
Yeah.
It gives him like superpowers. Like he can jump like a crazy person and like super strong and all this stuff, and like his eyes turn a different color. Like it's just a weird thing. So like he explains it like because he has a little tin that he carries a bunch of bugs around in, and I thought they had to be like special bugs or something.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
At one point in the movie, he gave all his bugs away and was like, I'm not gonna help Dracula anymore, and he gave all his bugs away. But then like he gets in danger and he's like scrounging looking for a bug, going for like planters and stuff.
Yeah.
He ends up, his kid neighbor had an ant farm, and he was like, give me that ant farm. He's just eating the whole ant farm so that he can gain powers.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I didn't realize that. But yeah, it gives him like these crazy superpowers.
Okay.
And then there is another main chick that he ends up working with that I think he ends up liking. It's kind of unclear. They don't really like
specify.
Yeah, they don't really specify whether it's like a romance kind of thing or whether it's more of just like a friendship. But she's like a New Orleans cop.
Oh.
And so she's trying to take down a big crime family in New Orleans, and apparently every other cop pretty much in New Orleans is on the crime family's payroll, like except for her. And so like the family just keeps getting off for all this stuff. Well, I guess that family had like killed her dad, who was also a cop, and so she like wants revenge really bad. But I don't know the girl's name. I feel like it was the girl I think it's is it Aquafina? It is.
Oh, it's she plays it?
Aquafina, yeah. So I'll be honest, I've never liked her in any movie that I've ever seen.
Really? I love her.
I have not liked her in any movie.
Okay.
She's always rubbed me the wrong way for some reason, and I've always like not liked any of her characters. But I loved her character in this movie. I loved her. Like she showed up, and I was just like, she's rad. I like her because like she's like a cop, and like there's this one other cop. This is like one of the best parts of the movie. There's this other cop named Kyle that she works with, and every single time he like goes to open his mouth, she just shut the fuck up, Kyle. Just shut the fuck up, Kyle. And it was just. Now I just want to say that I just want to meet a Kyle. Like, I mean, I have a friend Kyle, but he's a cool dude, and I'm not going to say this to him. But it's like, I want to meet, like, just a shitty Kyle and just, shut the fuck up, Kyle.
It's not as cool as you think. Honestly, I had one of those for years, and let me tell you, his name was Kyle. And it was always that. It would always say some crazy-ass shit for no reason. Always, like, in a misplaced.
No, I don't want to be friends with, like, a Kyle. I don't want to have, like, an ongoing relationship. I just want to meet a shitty Kyle, have him say something, and me just look at him and be like, shut the fuck up, Kyle.
Yeah.
That's all I want now. Just to use that line. Use that line. But she was great in this.
Okay.
Like I said, I wasn't a really big fan of hers, but this movie kind of changed my mind.
Okay. So I'm glad to hear that because I like her like in everything. Like I don't think I've seen her in one thing where I was like, oh no, like if Aquafina's in it, I'm about it. Like I know it's gonna be great. She's so funny and just like delivery.
She has great
delivery. Nonchalantness can be quite hard. Yeah. And she just does it
Yeah, because I didn't know she was in it either. I didn't even know, because they don't show her, I don't think.
No, not that I saw, no.
No, I didn't even know that was going to be, like, kind of a part of the movie. Because they don't allude to that part at all. But, like, that's pretty much the whole, like, basis of, like, the movie is, like, he kind of, comes into himself. He's trying to get away from Dracula. He meets her, and then they kind of form, like, an unlikely little friendship kind of thing. And then they become a duo. He, like, pretty much has to tell her at one point, like, hey, like, yeah, I work for Dracula. And she's like, oh, yeah, sure, okay, you work for Dracula. Like, yeah, okay. Yeah. And he's like, no, I'm serious. Like, and so what ultimately ends up happening is Dracula ends up teaming up with that mob family.
Oh.
And they end up going after both of them and everything. And then that's pretty much the basis of the story, is them trying to take down Dracula and the mob family.
Okay.
And it's actually just really good. The movie itself is actually really good. And we didn't even talk about Nick. I mean, Nick just crushed it as Dracula. Like,
oh yeah.
I mean,
I guess I kind of assumed.
Oh yeah, he was just, because like I said, he wasn't the main character of this movie, but he just Nick Cage doing Nick Cage things, man. He just set it off. I don't even know the other guy's name either, but the guy, there's one guy in it who plays like the mob boss is actually a woman. And it's her son, and he's just one of those total fuck ups who can't do anything like right. And so like he ends up being the one that ends up meeting Dracula and fighting Dracula. And there's one scene when they're like, he's the last one alive. He killed his entire crew that showed up to his little place, and this kid's the only one left alive. And Dracula's like talking to him and stuff, and then they like come to an agreement, and Dracula starts laughing maniacally, and this guy's like like starts laughing with him and stuff, and then all of a sudden he just goes, which I thought was great, because it's like normally you just kind of keep laughing, you don't really know what's gonna happen, but this guy goes, I can't tell. Are we cool? Or are you gonna fuck me up? Like what are we doing here? Are we cool? Are you gonna fuck me up? Because I can't gauge the situation. And it was really funny. The whole movie, just great little one-liners, great little zips and everything.
Yeah.
Nick Cage's teeth in this movie.
Yeah, they give him like.
Are terrifying.
Right, they're like tiles.
Yeah, they're literally just all pointed. Every single one of his teeth is a pointed tooth, and it's absolutely terrifying. Like it's so creepy, because it's like he smiles and it's just, oh my god. Yeah. Like you're more scared than if like the little fangs would just come out or something like that. So you're kind of like, oh okay, so yeah, you got fangs, cool. But like every other time you have just normal teeth. But no, this fangs all the time. You're just kind of like, oh, that's something. It's kind of terrifying. Yeah. But you could tell, and I think that they ended up doing just like leaving like this, because I feel like there was nothing they could do about it. His upper lip kept getting stuck on the prosthetic teeth. So like he would talk and then like his lip would like stick like this. Back, yeah. Like it would just kind of get stuck. And I think that they just kind of were like, we got to roll with it. Like I feel like they maybe were tried to fix it or something, but then eventually they were just like, just let it happen, man. Yeah. If your lip gets stuck, just let it be stuck. And I think it kind of it added to it a little bit, because it like you saw more of this. It's terrifying. Those things are terrifying, man. Okay. No, thank you. No, thank you on the teeth. No. Cue on the teeth.
No.
Cue on the teeth.
No. Like a lot of fun for what you described. I like because I read a little bit about it. Like it is 100% based on the original Dracula book. Like they actually took a lot from that. So
from Bram Stoker.
So I'm like, that's pretty cool that they went back to the source material and try to like expand on it.
He does turn into bats a lot.
Okay.
So that's pretty cool. So I mean that was from the original. I feel like, right? Did he turn into a singular bat?
I think he turned into a singular bat.
Well, he turned into multiple bats.
That's cool.
So it's just like, all of a sudden he's there, and then all of a sudden it's just a gang of bats.
Okay.
So.
Sick.
Yeah, it was cool. And there's again though, I will say, there's just a lot of blood, man. Just a lot of gore, and it's really fun. I don't know why I like gore. I don't like scary stuff, but I don't mind gore at all. I actually think it's kind of cool. Like
gore, it's an art form. It really, really is to like make it look real and make it look like.
Oh, it doesn't look real at all. Don't take it in that way. It does not look real. Like it is like gushing blood from every single like you kill somebody and they explode in blood. Like it's not exactly.
But even
real,
that, like figuring out how to pump up enough of the blood coming out of you to like do stuff like that. Yeah. All of that takes people who've done it for years to like figure all that stuff out.
Yeah. So I'm that person though who gets like excited, and I'm sitting there and I'll go, oh, when something happens, but at the same time I think it's so cool. Like somebody gets beheaded or something, I'm like, whoa! I'm like, but that was rad.
Yeah.
Did you see that? Did you see that? So that's what this movie did a lot of, which was really cool. Yeah. So you need to go see it.
I'm gonna go
like immediately.
Yeah.
Like
after this.
Yeah. Like leave here and go straight to the movie theater and go watch Nick Cage do Nick Cage things.
I shall. Okay, so what is if you had to name like your top, it could be like multiple, not to be one, but like if you had to put like a top 5 list of like vampire movies or shows or things, like how would you?
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
Definitely the first thing that came to my mind though, very first thing was Underworld.
Okay.
I love Underworld.
Yeah, you like Die Hard love, like you've seen all, I think 6 of the movies.
I've seen like all. Don't get me wrong, they start to get real shitty.
Yeah.
They start to get real shit. I'm talking original OG Underworld. Like 1 and 2, even just 1. Like I really loved 1.
Yeah.
Like once we got like past, I think it was like the Rise of the Lycans, which I think was like 3. It just it started to fall off. It got too science fiction-y, too many extra things going on. Now she has some weird kid. Like it all got weird.
Yeah.
But that first one though, so good.
Yeah, I think if you like that sci-fi future but also not future thing, because it's like they still live in
it was like
modern day, but
they were all still very like old schoolish.
Yeah, it felt like whoever was like the writer or the director definitely wants the Matrix a lot. You know what I mean? Like
I can definitely see that because like
the clothing.
Yeah, like the long leather coat that she wears and everything like that. It's just she had that mystique. Yeah.
The way, like I like how they had like future tech to deal with just the vampire, like those light bullets or the stuff just to deal with the lichens. And that all of it was like they watched like all of it was like they watched like all of it was like they watched like watched.
And they combined them together and was like, yes.
Yeah.
Got the movie. And then they cast Kate Beckinsale and it was just all good.
No, all down. Probably Kate Beckinsale's like best movie I think she's ever done.
I just like that Kate Beckinsale is so versatile because she like she plays a vampire, but then you can also see her in like a regular movie playing like a regular like chick.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I love Kate Beckinsale in general, so I think
she's okay. I think the only thing I can recognizably say that she's been in is Underworld and Van Helsing, and I'm like that's like the same person kind of.
Yeah, no, she's been in a lot. You should educate yourself. But I mean that's also cool though because if you think about it, that's 2 separate things that she did though.
Yeah.
She played a vampire, but then she also played a vampire hunter.
Yeah.
So, and I was gonna bring up Van Helsing because you know I was cool.
Yeah, I know.
You knew I was cool.
No, Van Helsing is a cool. Van Helsing.
Okay, David Wenham is one of those completely underrated actors.
Yeah, for sure.
David Wenham just brings the magic.
Actually, I'm just what is he now, friar?
Yeah, he's a friar.
Oh, actually, I'm just a friar.
I'm still just a friar. I can curse all I want to. Damn it! My favorite thing from him though is literally my 2 favorite lines from him is the one where he talks about how he just like they created like liquid nitrogen what am I trying to say? Like it's not liquid nitrogen. It's the exploding stuff.
Liquid nitrogen.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyways, he like puts it on his finger and like flicks it and then the thing explodes and then his glasses fall down. He turns around. He's sorry, and he's like, the air around here is thick with envy. Like that's one of my favorite lines. And then my second favorite line is when he's like asleep or whatever, and all the little bats are coming and everything, and he just must tell somebody, and he like goes running off. Like
yeah, I think he had some of the best lines in that.
Oh yeah, without a doubt, he was amazing.
Yeah.
But the guy that got to actually play Dracula, I thought was really cool.
He was.
I liked his version of Dracula, the way it was like he turned into like a giant bat dude. Like it wasn't just like, it wasn't just like he turns into like a little bat.
No.
Or like whatever, what have you. He like literally like when he transforms, he's just a giant man bat.
Yeah, unless it's a cartoon. From my understanding, Dracula, because he's the first, he's the purest form of a vampire. When he turns into a bat, it's not little bats or a bat. He becomes an actual bat person.
He's a Batman.
Yeah, he's a man bat.
He's a man bat.
Difference.
Man bat Batman.
Yeah.
Batman man bat.
No.
Man bat Batman.
Batman addresses this because he has an actual villain called Man Bat. That's a bat.
A Batman. A man bat.
Man bat.
There's so many. I can't.
But yeah, it's like even in like Blade number 3. Did you watch 3?
Yeah, with Drake. He calls him Drake.
Oh yeah,
they call him Drake.
He's like, yes, Drake. Yeah, he even becomes like more like a demon.
Yeah, I know, a demon
thing.
bat.
Yeah. So, from my understanding, anytime Dracula becomes like a bat, which
Are you okay?
oh my god, Dracula choked me. You heard me talking shit. Even in Underworld, no, that we didn't see Dracula, but we did see the old vampire guy. He's been like,
But no, but that, he got, and that's why he turned into that.
no, not the fucking boyfriend. I'm talking about the old,
Yes, he got lichen blood. He was a hybrid, sir.
the fucking old man that hated lichens.
Okay, let me explain.
Hold on, I've seen this movie.
One of the lichens, the scientist lichen, they capture and they bring to the room where they have the elders underground, right? They kill that guy. I think they like bash his head in or something. He's bleeding from the mouth and he happens to land right on top of that elder's tomb.
Yeah.
And his blood is dripping into that guy's tomb and his blood goes into him and you see his eyes when he wakens change to the hybrid eyes. He is a hybrid because he is the line of Corvinus. That guy was the original vampire from the line of Corvinus. And that is why he became a hybrid. So when he like turns into his bat guy self, he's a hybrid. He's not just a vampire.
Okay, I misunderstood that.
It's fine, man. That's what you got me for. With all my vampire weird
I feel so weird being on the other side. I feel like I'm always the one being like, actually.
Well, you see
No, but that's cool. That's still like a pretty cool explanation. Okay, well, my bad. But yeah, from my understanding, anytime it's like Dracula or somebody of like the line of, they always turn into like a ridiculous. Like even in the least of Dracula lore in Hotel Transylvania, in the second one, we get to meet his Dracula's his dad.
Yeah.
And his dad has like a bunch of bat minions.
Yeah, the big bad bat guy.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to say. The big bad guy.
He also kind of turns into like a giant fucking bat thing. Yeah. So yeah.
I like that though. I like that they, turn into something and it's like extra bad. Like, oh, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
Like, you were scary enough already. Now you're a giant man bat.
Yeah, no, it's different.
Scary.
Yeah.
Scary.
I think if I had to name a few of my favorites, so Blade, top.
Oh yeah, Blade is gonna be great.
Yeah, Blade.
I will say though, Wesley Snipes went a little too method with it. Relax.
Yeah, I've heard stories that like by the third one, like he had to call him Blade.
Yeah, Ryan Reynolds literally said he never met Wesley Snipes on the entire shooting of that movie. He only ever met Blade. He never met Wesley Snipes because he was just Blade the entire time he was there. So we'll assume method.
I get it. Some people are like that. I think it's hard for them to like. It takes them so long to get into it that it probably like hurts them like the amount of time they have to be acting. So they would rather just do that. Not to say that it's okay, and some of the behavior that happens from that's not okay, but I can also.
I mean, yeah, I can understand, but at the same time, like, I don't know. I just find method acting a little.
I'm Blade.
Yeah.
I'm Blade.
Yeah, just kind of strange. It's kind of strange to me. Like, I mean, don't be wrong. Like, I don't think that I'm a great actor or anything, but at the same time, I feel like there has to be some kind of separation. Like, otherwise, I feel like you just Shia LaBeouf it and you just go fucking insane, and then
it depends on the person, I think, because like from what I've seen and gathered, and I see some people like they say it's a really useful tool, and other people like you get super crazy and they just kind of do that. But also, he's a billionaire, so.
Okay. I mean, no, I don't.
People keep working with him, so it can't be that bad. Like,
I guess not. So, what about Blade?
Oh yeah, no, I just love Blade in general. It was like one of the first comic book things that I got to see in a live action, like, and it was pretty close to like the story of what we know in the comics. So they didn't really alter it too much, but you got just enough, and it also kind of fits like the whole '90s dark movie motif, So everything kind of worked. But yeah, in general, love the whole series. I'll watch them a million times. I'm really excited for the new ones that are coming out. I know they're not going to be the same.
Which
we're never gonna
favorite
get.
Blade?
I think the first one, and here's why. Blade was like the first black man on TV that was like the superhero, like the main guy. And it never really got like, it wasn't like because he's black. It was just that's who the character is, and there was no like anything behind it. But he also doesn't lose his blackness. There's one scene in particular in the beginning of the movie. Yeah, it's great. This is my favorite scene besides the opening scene when he goes into the vampire nightclub and blood's coming down, which that'd be so cool to go to. But no, the cops have got him or something, and I think they say something to him, and he like it must have been so ludicrous because he just looks at him and goes, "What the fuck? What the hell did you just say to him?" It was so outrageous that he forgot he was Blade for and turned into Wesley Snipes. It was great. I was like, "What is happening?"
What did you say?
It was.
He turned into Samuel L. Jackson real quick.
100%. And that's like I love watching that part because it's just like even though he's battling the world, he's still doing it as a black man, if that makes sense. And that was cool. I don't know.
Yeah, I can see that. So, yeah. I have an unpopular opinion about Blade movies. The third one's my favorite, and nobody likes that one
because it's not like it's so far removed from what the material is, but it's funny, so I didn't care.
Yeah, I mean that's why I like it. I just like it.
The main bad guy was kind of a bitch.
Who was the main bad guy in that one? It was Drake. Yeah.
He kind of cops out a lot. He doesn't really actually. Well,
yeah, no, he doesn't really do a lot, but the reason I think why is because he thinks everyone is beneath him.
Yeah.
Everyone, even the other vampires, because they're not pure. Like he thinks that everyone is beneath him, so that nobody's worth his time.
Yeah.
And that's kind of why he just kind of does that. Is because he's like, you're not worth it.
Yeah.
Like, why am I going to give you the time of day?
Yeah.
But I like that one, yes, mostly because it's funny, but it's like it's got that like action comedy thing to it, where it's like you get just enough comedy, but still a lot of action to it. And Ryan Reynolds to me just made that movie. Don't get me wrong, I am not one of the Ryan Reynolds like diehards that's out there. I'm not the one being like, oh my god, Ryan Reynolds, I love him so much. Oh my god, he can do no wrong. I feel like he plays the same fucking character in almost every single movie he's ever in. Yeah, he literally does. He just plays himself, which to me gets boring. It gets repetitive. But in that movie, I love him in that movie. Yeah. And literally my favorite line is a very inappropriate line, so excuse my language, but when he literally calls her a cock-juggling thunder cunt.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you know how bad I want to hate somebody so much to be able to call them that? Like,
yeah.
That is just the most magical of insults. Cock-juggling thunder cunt. The most magical of insults. If you wouldn't have pet him, he probably would have walked right past you.
Okay, I don't know.
And now you've broken the dog.
I'm sorry.
You should have just let him go, man.
Yeah, it was I didn't even do it without realizing it. I was already petting him by the time I realized what I was doing. So I'm sorry.
It's fine. This is on you, man. You did this.
Yeah.
So Frank is now stuck with Dante because he decided to pet him. Mistakes were made.
It happens. Have you watched Interview with the Vampire?
I haven't watched it in a really long time.
Still good.
But yes, I have seen it a couple times.
Still amazing. I didn't know this. So I was a huge fan of Queen of the Damned. Mm-hmm. I didn't know that that's the same vampire from Interview with the Vampire. So they're books.
Which one? Lestat.
Yeah, that's supposed to be Lestat years later.
Oh.
Yeah, they live. The same name. Yeah. So
interesting.
It's a series of books. So Interview with the Vampire, I believe, is the first or the second one.
Okay.
And Queen of the Damned was the fourth. And so
I didn't know that either.
Yeah. So
all I knew was that Aaliyah was the Queen of the Damned.
Yeah.
And just God rest her beautiful soul.
Yes. I don't dislike the movie, but I don't love it either.
Oh yeah,
it was just made like very cheesily, and they were trying to recreate a lot of things that just didn't fit. But I love the fact because I'm a huge fan of the band Korn. Are you familiar?
I know the band. I'm not a fan, but I know the band.
So Lestat,
yeah, a big long nose.
So Lestat has become a world famous musician in the Queen of the Damned, as you know, and that's the music that they choose for him to play, and it just like doesn't fit like the image that they give him and his band. So it just made me laugh a lot when he's like out there singing like "Got the Life" or something. I'm like, this doesn't even, what is happening? It doesn't even look right. Like, it was so bad. But yeah, no, I thought it was so interesting. I'm like, oh, they're the same guy. That's cool.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
Yeah, they just did a remake, I think, on AMC. It's a series though, not a movie.
Really?
Of Interview with the Vampire.
Haven't seen that. Didn't even hear about it.
Yeah, I saw a few commercials for it. I haven't seen anything for it yet, and I haven't watched it. So it's on my list of things to get to because I'm like a huge fan. The production, you can tell they spent a lot of money. So I'm excited to see what comes with it. But it's one of those things where it's like, it's hard to rewatch because the first one is so iconic. And also Tom,
Which Tom? So many Toms. Which Tom is going to make me excited?
Oh, my Cruise as a vampire.
Not that Tom.
Okay.
That's like the worst Tom.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying, like, it was cool to see him do something I never thought, I know him as Top Gun or like Mission Impossible, but to him to be a vampire and like a pretty damn good one.
Yeah, he was very good. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I'll give him that. I didn't know where you were going. I thought we were going on a different tangent. So I would have helped you if I remembered that we were talking about Interview with a Vampire. I would have been like, oh yeah, Cruise, like duh, like.
I kept wanting to say Tom Brady, but I'm like, no, that guy's only a vampire for his children's list. So
he's only a vampire in real life because he just doesn't age.
Yeah,
he's just backwards. Have you seen those pictures of him from when he was like in college to like now? It looks like he aged backwards. Really? It's really strange. It's uncomfortable.
That guy makes me uncomfortable in general, so.
Yeah. Anyways.
My sister sent me a video of him. His kids were getting ready to leave the house, and he goes, hey, where's my sugar? And then he makes his kids kiss him on the lips. I couldn't. I was like, what is, no, this guy's a billionaire. What is happening?
Okay.
All right.
I'm just thinking about him in, what was it, Ted 2? Or was it, I think it was Ted 2. They literally, they try to steal his semen.
That's right. I forgot about that. No, Ted 2, I feel is super underrated. Way for the movie.
Dante, go lay down, dude. Go back, go lay down.
Not vampire related, but
Dante, lay down.
Not vampire related, but Seth MacFarlane related. Did you ever watch 1,000 Ways to Die in the West?
Yes.
Oh, I love that.
But I vaguely remember it because I only watched it once, like forever ago.
If you like really dumb humor, if you like Family Guy, you're gonna like this movie. Like it's really stupid, but the humor that was done in it made me laugh a lot. There's a scene where Neil Patrick Harris poops himself in a hat and like poops himself, but like poops in a hat. It's great. It's so dumb. It's such a dumb movie. Oh my God. But yeah, I love it. It's great.
What about TV shows? Are there any vampire TV shows that you like?
I wasn't a big fan of like Blue Blood or
Blue Blood? You mean True Blood?
True Blood. Yeah, sorry, I thought it was Blue Blood.
No, I think Blue Bloods is like a police, like a cop.
That makes more sense. I was like, why is it blue?
Blue Blood.
I'm trying to think what.
I've never seen True Blood. Surprisingly,
we're all about it.
Yeah, like people like assume that I've seen it, and I haven't seen a single episode. I literally know nothing about that show at all. Isn't somebody named Snooki in that show?
I don't know. That's hilarious.
If somebody's named Snooki,
that's Jersey Shore.
No, I straight up think somebody is named Snooki in True Blood.
I'm trying to think. Is there any there hasn't ever been like a vampire TV show I think I was super into because they're all like supposed to be like drama and sexy, and it's like, no, I want like ripping that. Oh, you know what show I did like that does involve a bit? Oh, fuck, what's it called? It was a British show originally where it's a werewolf.
What We Do in the Shadows.
No. Oh, I do. Okay, that
because I've actually never seen that, but I've heard great things.
Okay, well, skip the other show I'm talking about. So what we do in the shadows, I guess.
Fuck that other show. We're going to talk about this one.
I meant to talk about it earlier, but then we started talking about this stuff and I forgot. What we do in the shadows is probably my favorite vampire thing that's ever been created, but it's more like my favorite satire thing, if that makes sense. Because it's like The Office. If you never watched it, it's like The Office, but vampires. But they think they're like they think they can blend in really well, and they just can't. Like they still wear clothes from like the 1800 or 19, you know, like.
So it's like wizards in Harry Potter who don't understand Muggle life at all.
Yes,
like
but they think they do. Like they live because they've stayed in the world.
What exactly is the function of a rubber duck?
No, they lived in they grew up in New Orleans or like lived there for a long time, and so they think that they still like I forget I can't remember if they like took a nap and then woke up. I think is what it is. They were in hibernation, and then woke up and realized, oh, it's been way longer than we thought.
Yeah.
And then they just try to blend in with society today, but they just don't. But they think they know everything, and that's where all the funny stuff happens. One episode, I want to say this is probably season 2, but Laszlo, he's kind of like the leader, but he's also like the self-proclaimed leader. Like they don't really have a leader, but he kind of just talks about it. He goes off for 2 weeks on a vacation to Daytona Beach. Oh no, sorry, I forget. It's like Oklahoma, somewhere weird, somewhere like in the middle of the country. And he calls himself Jackie Daytona, and he owns a sports bar there. So he completely changes himself, and people love him there. Like he owns the bar, and he just says human things that he knows. And he's like, I even have an F-150, and he just never driven it. It's just there, like. And I want to say that the episode is about like the local school, like the volleyball team doesn't have enough money to make it to playoffs, so he helps them to try to raise like a fun, they do like a talent show at his bar, and like I want to say it doesn't work out, and he ends up having to like, I forget why, but he has to burn down the bar at the end. And he's just, everyone, none of the money goes anywhere. Like, it's just a complete disaster. And in the end, he's just talking in the truck, and he's like, well, sometimes you can't win them. And then he just presses the gas and just crashes the truck because he just goes full speed. He doesn't know how to do anything. And he gets out. He's like, why the fuck do I have that thing? And then just turns into a bat and then flew away. Like, it's the craziest show. And I don't know if you know this, but it started off as a movie. So,
I think so. I think I remember.
Taika Waititi it was one of his first, I don't know if it's first, but it's a very like, damn, I'm like dying to independent film. Yeah, probably. Independent film, but he's actually in it. He's like one of the characters that's there. They're doing like a documentary on them.
Yeah. I remember that, and that's what I remember, like it coming out, and then I remember them turning it into a show. I just never got around to watching it.
No, the show is phenomenal. I highly recommend watching.
Okay. Put it on the list. I don't have anything to watch while I'm working right now, so.
It's amazing. It's super funny. One of the characters is an emotional vampire. So he just takes people's like feelings, and like he just annoys, like he's just that person that like just kills everything. And he just does it on purpose so he can like drain your energy. Mm-hmm. And it's so funny. He like pretends to work in an office, and he's just that guy that just continuously talks and talks when you ask him a question. And he just does it all on purpose just to fuck with people and take their energy. It's great. It's super fun. Like, Nadia, all right, I'm like ruining everything. Najia, or whatever you say her name, she's one of the other vampires. She's Laszlo's wife, but she's had this side piece that throughout the years he's like reborn, like the next generation comes and she gets with him as like a side boyfriend. But I think
she's just like a weird vampire, like MILF lady.
Yeah,
like,
kind of.
Like recite, like she's like, oh, you had a son, I'm gonna have him when he comes of age.
Yeah,
like
she's only dated him aside from her husband, or at least I know in the show. And so, but I think they call him Headless Jeff or something like that because he always dies by getting decapitated. Like no.
Wait. So it's the same guy, or it's
Warren?
Okay, never mind.
You know does that make sense?
It does kind of now. I was thinking you were saying like he was like a human,
yes.
but like he kept like he would have a kid, and like the guy would get too old, he would die, but he would have a son, and then she'd get with the son, and it would just be an ongoing cycle. That's what it is. And the son, every one in their like bloodline just keeps getting beheaded.
It's not every year, but it's like every, I think, second or third, and it's like the same actor playing them. So that's like you like the it's like a resemblance, you know.
Oh my gosh!
And
that's hilarious.
And the thing is too, she like awakens his old souls that remember her, so he becomes obsessed with her.
She's like the great female version of fucking Imhotep.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
It's just reawakening his old girlfriend like over and over again.
It's super fucking funny because she tosses him to the curb all the time, and then you find out later that Laszlo's actually been beheading him the whole time. Like he actually knew. It's fucking super fucking funny, dude. You have to fucking watch it. And like, there's so much more. Like that, all that stuff I said was like the tip of the fucking iceberg.
Oh my God,
there's so much other shit. And the writing's great. All the actors are amazing. One of the familiars. There's only one familiar in the show, but he's a different vampire I didn't mention. But he is one of the best characters. He actually, you find out that he's related to vampire hunters, and he can't stop killing vampires on accident. It's weird. Yeah, go watch the show.
Great.
It's amazing. That would probably be my favorite televised version of a vampire for sure.
You already know where I'm gonna go. Vampire Diaries.
Oh, that's another one.
See, but I mean, it had an effect, man. I watched every single season of that show and I was obsessed. I will say, however, though, I am not one to ever say that the spin-off. Well, actually, no, I can't say that. I can't say that I'm not the one, because actually, there's another one that's also a vampire show that it just clicked in my head. I like the spin-offs sometimes better.
Okay.
So the originals, which was a spin-off of the Vampire Diaries, 10 times better to me. That show was fantastic, which was it is obviously ends up being about the original vampire family.
Yeah.
And they became vampires actually because their mom was a witch, and she like basically needed to find a way to make them immortal, and so she turns them into vampires, and they become the original vampire family. Yeah. And so it's the whole series is just about them, and they live in New Orleans, and like just this their very weird, crazy family dynamic. And one of the brothers, actually, his name is Klaus. He actually is a hybrid.
Oh.
Which you find out in the Vampire Diaries, but it gets explained more as you go into the originals and all that stuff. But they actually had, it's one of those shows, like you said, it's very kind of a little bit more on the girly side because it's a little bit more drama-esque and kind of things and all that, but it's still really good. Like they have like really good like storylines and really good character development, which really makes you like a lot of the characters and everything, and it kind of gets you invested.
I want to put this out there. I'm also not above. I watched Pretty Little Liars way.
See, I haven't even watched that show.
So show actually drove me insane.
I actually never watched that show. Actually, I can't say that. I literally watched, I think, the first episode, and I got bored halfway through and turned it off.
I watched, I think, up to this, like, halfway through the first season, and then I was like, oh, this show is just nonsense. They're just going to keep adding stupid things, and they're never going to figure out who the fucking did it. Fuck this. Like, I got mad. Because, I'm mad. But I don't mind a good mystery, but it just... But Allison was there, but no, she wasn't, because she was secretly after my boyfriend, but who was actually my boyfriend? Was adopted by, like, 10 other people. Oh, my God.
Yeah, that sounds about right. It sounds like a normal girl drama TV show. But I would probably say, for me, best TV vampire show, and it doesn't even revolve fully around vampires, but the main character is a vampire, Angel.
Oh my God. Oh, that's literally okay. We have very different opinions of the show, because I was literally gonna bring it up as one of the worst shows I have ever watched. And this comes up, and I've seen every episode. This comes from a place of love for that show.
How?
Because
dare you?
I love that show.
I'm getting so angry. My microphone is moving all the way to the red, sir. I'm having to move back away from my microphone because I'm yelling.
That show. I was so dedicated to that show. And for
him, you love it?
I did, until the very last season, which was bullshit. That shit.
Okay.
So much dog shit.
Okay.
Oh my God. Are you kidding me?
I agree with you.
Are you kidding me?
Franklin.
Whole show for me.
Frank, I agree with you on the final season. I agree with
that
you.
Shit was hot garbage.
And I literally had to like sit there and literally like go onto forums and read things and like stuff like that to kind of figure out what were we doing here?
Yeah.
What was the direction exactly? And I guess the reasoning for it, and it gives me some semblance of okay, I guess I kind of understand. The reason he ended it the way he did was kind of basically to say that it never ends. There's not a happy ending.
Yeah, I got that.
For it at all. Like, the fight is always going to be there. It's going to continue no matter what. They had to end the show, and he chose to end it that way, as the fight never ends. And I get it.
But it wasn't just that. It was like all of it. It was the whole thing where we think what's her name's going to come back for the last time. Yeah, and then she just doesn't because that was stupid.
That was a personal thing, I will say, apparently. So pretty much, I guess what the whole thing that happened with Charisma Carpenter, and the reason why she ended up leaving the show was because like they had like, I guess like kind of contract issues and different things like that. So that's why she actually ended up leaving the show. Oh no, I'm sorry. It was a contract issue, but it was because she got pregnant. That's why they wrote stuff